I don't think I've used the word progressive. I think I've said woke. I think there's a big difference between woke, and I know that word triggers a lot of people because it had a great beginning as a meaning, but words migrate, and it went to something else. I think there's a big difference between an old school liberal and a woke person. You say progressive Democrat. How do you describe this?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I've just say, and I've been saying that for years, actually. I said that, I didn't leave the label. It left me on that.
Right.
And that really, after it happened on October 7th, I was really knew that that whole progressive stack would be blasted apart, and there's not going to be any kind of way how the Democrats are going to be able to reply to that kind of, or respond to that kind of. And I really decided early on that I believed that was going to be the right side with Israel throughout all of that. And I knew that would going to be Democrats would continue to peel away and kind of walk away from standing with Israel on that.
The Democratic Party.
Hey, welcome back. It's your man Wise, and today we're checking out a video from our guy, Doug in Exile. Man, Doug's cooking, doing great work out here in these YouTube internet streets. John Fetterman, man. John Fetterman has said the party left him. And now he's out on the island. Maybe he'll go to the conservative side. Maybe he'll be independent. But it sounds like he is not with the woke nonsense. We've been talking about this for a few months, though, right? Let's get into the video. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. I appreciate all the love and support. And without further ado, let's go.
Parties migrate and evolve. Bill Maher has John Fetterman on his show once again, and he's going like, dude, what happened to our party? And Fetterman is getting canceled out of the party for being too pro-Israel, too pro-freedom, not hostile enough to Israel, not supporting enough of Palestine and Hamas. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. I'd like to welcome John Fetterman and Bill Maher over to the sane side. Come over, embrace the Republicans. Guys, you're in the wrong party.
You said, I'm not a progressive, I'm a Democrat. What does that mean? What is that distinction? Because I don't think I've used the word progressive. I think I've said woke. I think there's a big difference between woke, and I know that word triggers a lot of people because it had a great beginning as a meaning, but words migrate.
Well, one word that hasn't migrated is the word Democrat has not come to stand more for freedom or liberty or even being pro vote results. The name Democrat has become radicalized, and that's not just the little fringe people. It's a majority of what the movement stands for. Things like open border. I mean, Fetterman's against it.
And it went to something else. I think there's a big difference between an old school liberal and a woke person. You say progressive Democrat. How do you describe this?
Well, and this is a desperate attempt at a reasonable Democrats to try to grab their party back. And it's gone. That train left the station, Bill Maher. They're nuts.
Absolutely. It's blood in or blood out with those folks. You got to get all the way in. You got to drink all the Kool-Aid with these people. They are so far radical. They're no longer pro-America. They're no longer America first. They believe in this new world order, and that goes against everything that we believe in as closed borders, as people that want to see America be what America has always been, the beacon on the hill, and considered the greatest country in the world. That's not what the Democrats want. They want this new world order agenda. It's almost like they want us to go back to a slave state. That's what it seems like. I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like to me.
Okay. I can still call myself a Republican because the Republican Party has not completely turned its back yet on traditional marriage and life issues, which is what I would do. I would absolutely hard leave the party. But I'd never embrace being a Democrat.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I've just say, and I've been saying that for years, actually. I said that, I didn't leave the label. It left me on that.
Right.
And that really, after it happened on October 7th, I was really knew that that whole progressive stack would be blasted apart, and there's not going to be any kind of way how the Democrats are going to be able to reply to that kind of, or respond to that kind of. And I really decided early on that I believed that was going to be the right side with Israel throughout all of that.
I'm willing to make a bet that John Fetterman is going to leave the party, probably go independent. I believe these are the signs, specifically over Israel. October 7th, Israel got attacked. Hamas broke the ceasefire. Fetterman came out on the side of Israel, and he faced boos from some of his Democrat constituents, booing from them. And he went out and just kept waving that flag. But now their whole party, you're not going to find a home they're so hostile. Like, they're going to start running, your primaries into the ground. By the way, this is the same threat that we did in the Republican Party, where you go like, hey, you're a rhino, we're going to come get you in the primary. Get on board with our party or whatever. It's the same thing that happens over on that side. But will Fetterman continue his break with the Democrat Party? And will Bill Maher join him in this anti-woke, or are they going to keep voting for Biden?
That's a great question. That is a great question, Doug. Are they going to keep stepping or keep in lockstep with the Democrats, even though they disdain the direction that party has gone? They're not for the nuclear family. They're for taxing all Americans into oblivion. This woke, far left, progressive, alphabet community, feminists, pro pregnancy termination to full term. And in some cases, they would like to see it happen after the fact of a birth. These people are out there. They are an evil institution, as my guy Vince Everett Ellison would call them. They are an evil cabal of people. And when you look at their policies, they just continue to get more and more radical as the years progress.
And I knew that would going to be Democrats would continue to peel away and kind of walk away from standing with Israel on that. But that's where I decided after.
How do you explain that, if you can, that the people who consider themselves the most liberal have abandoned Israel, which was always a liberal darling, for the people who, a terrorist organization, the people who outwardly say they want a genocide, who outwardly are the one side of this who's against the two-state solution. Somehow they wound up with them.
How do you explain it? How do you explain the fascism coming out on the left? Now, here's where Fetterman and Maher got it wrong. They were never pro-liberal. I mean, the party was never pro-liberal. The party always used labels to cover up what it was really doing. So, of course, they would say, we're pro-democracy. The other side is anti-democracy, as we remove our opponent off the ballot in the name of protecting democracy and your vote. You see, in the name of protecting your legal vote, we're going to bring in a bunch of illegal aliens, make them citizens in order to protect democracy. You know what I mean? They just use words. So Bill Maher is a sucker, and so's Fetterman. You're suckers if you think your party was ever about liberalism or even progress. They don't even name what they progress. They were never for they're regress if you look at the way they act and what they do. By the way, tearing marriage apart and families apart is a regression. It is not progress. Being confused about gender and biology and basic science is a regression. It is not progress. The decomposition of our cities into needles on the sidewalk and fecal material and homeless people and the inability for basic function of police is a digression. That is not progress. That is not liberation.
Why do you think that is? And will this split the Democratic Party?
Well, it does, because there's an appeal there, and I think you talk about that. Like last week, you really hit with the gender apartheid.
Yes.
And talking about a lot of these issues, and some of the most progressive and left parts of the Democratic Party are standing, for the kind of side that have kinds of organizations like Hamas or these kind of nations that there are no rights for women, and they certainly don't embrace the LGBTQ kinds of lifestyle.
So that's very interesting, because Fetterman wrapped himself in a rainbow flag during his election. Now he calls them the gender apartheid. They're coming to a crisis. What are you going to do? Do you remain on that side when it embraces things absolutely hostile to your values? I think the Democrat Party is going to lose every normal Democrat that is not a radical socialist are going to leave this party and probably go independent.
And in Philadelphia, the Queers for Palestine blocked the Pride parade in Philadelphia, and I never saw that on the bingo card, but it's really true.
Yeah, it's kind of like, dial and outrage now, and the dial and outrage of this group is meeting that group in the streets. They're both protesting. Now they're fighting each other, which I say, let these Democrat leftist socialist groups, let them tear each other apart. I'm all for dividing the enemy. That's what you do. That's how you divide and conquer in battle. You have to keep the enemy divided. So I like the idea of Queers for Palestine fighting with normal pro-Palestine riots in the street, we'll call it. That's good news for us. And in the meanwhile, we have to stay united. So things that are dividing the right, I always want the other side to come to me, but I don't want to be divided over traditional marriage. I want my Republican Party to stay united over here in traditional marriage. I don't want the Republican Party to adopt anti-life policies. I want them to stay over here in pro-life so that we're not trying to copy the Democrats on their that most radical agenda.
Shout out to Doug, man. He's absolutely right. I thought that was hilarious when I seen the two factions on the left, Queers for Palestine, such an oxymoron. You want to talk about an oxymoron, Sonny Helston? That's an oxymoron. Queers for Palestine. That's an oxymoron. I do agree with Doug, though. How many of these, quote unquote, I guess, normal people that consider themselves Democrats, but they're not, far left progressive wackos that are with, this gender care stuff for kids that, are not with the drag shows in classrooms, that are, still somewhat pro Second Amendment, that still support Israel, because there are a lot of Democrats that do consider themselves Christians. I think a lot of those people are probably going to lean more towards either independence. Maybe some of those people filter into the Libertarian Party because they seem to let anything go. And if you look at who their nominee was or nominee is, for this upcoming presidential election, that will tell you everything that you need to know about the Libertarian Party to an extent, as far as their ability or their willingness to live and let live. Be whatever it is that you want to be in that party. On the conservative side, there's some guidelines. I mean, we live by the 10 Commandments. We believe in the Word of God. So we have a strict form of guidelines that we feel like we must abide by. But I do appreciate the left eating the left, and that split right there down the middle. The real crazy thing is that up in Michigan, you have the Muslim population up there who vote Democrat, support Democrats. They did it the last election. But the Democrat policies don't seem to align with their ideology, their religion, their beliefs. I don't know how people make that distinction when they go into the ballot box to vote for a party. I guess I kind of do, because we have a lot of black people that are doing the same exact thing. I know plenty of black folks that get up and go to church every morning. They believe in the Word of God, so they say. They're Christians, so they say, but they support the Democrat Party. Some of them don't know exactly what they're supporting, and that may be the reason why they support the party. And others are just under the mindset that the other side is racist, so I don't have a choice but to support these folks. I don't know. But back to Fetterman. It's, I guess, almost a year now that we've seen this dude change. He had a stroke. He's suffering from, a medical issue. You know, and there was a lot of talk about him when he was running against Dr. Oz, you know, about, you know, the fact that he couldn't speak and he was just really struggling out there during the campaign. And some kind of way he won. But as he's recovered, he's become more and more conservative. His talking points are more conservative than they are liberal in this day and age. And it may be a situation where maybe he doesn't just flip to the Republicans. Maybe he, you know, leaves the Democrat Party, which it looks like that's the direction that he is heading, and then maybe go independent. Maybe he joins the Libertarian Party. I don't know. But he said it. The Democrat Party isn't the party that he joined. But what we do know about the Democrat Party, they've always been this type of party, but they've been really good at language and covering it up. They've been the party of slavery. They've been the party of Jim Crow. They've been the party of redlining. They've been the party of Planned Parenthood, responsible for millions of deaths. They have so much blood on their hands, this party here, that for whatever reason, people continue to support. They have so much blood on their hands, but they've been that. They've been the opposite of what they claim to be, but that's typically who they've always been. And they're really good at projection. Whatever the Democrats say that you are, that is exactly what they are. They're really good at projection. They're really good at language. They're really good at covering up who they actually are to the masses. At least they used to be. Now we have enough smart people out there that are really calling these people to the carpet and explaining to the masses, to us normies, to us regular folk, exactly who they are and who they've always been. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment down below. I appreciate all the love and support. Consider joining the ARP family. It helps support the team, helps support me, help us do what we do on a day-to-day basis. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that have already joined the team. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up, and I'm going to catch up with you all next time. Peace.